Hey guys, welcome back to Master Gaming VR. We are here to put the finishing touches on our ProTube rifle stock. Now, two things really quick before we get into form-fitting this and jumping in a game and getting this all lined up in probably stand out is what I'm feeling today. We're going to attach the accessories. This is something that I didn't do last time. So really quick. I forgot the last two steps. So there was this tiny little piece like this little half moon piece that I couldn't figure out what the hell it was for. It just so happens that there is this Allen wrench key right here that fits into this hole perfectly and snugly. Very snugly. Get in the thing. Let me not do it. Actually, let me not do it that way. Let me do it up this way. Okay. So, yeah. It is on here like this, and it is going to snap right on your ProTube. So now, you always know where your Allen wrench is. It just snaps on there. You can hide it under something somewhere, and it'll just hold on there. If you don't want to stick it in a corner somewhere and lose it, it's a nifty little thing that they added. The other thing, the more important thing, is the bipod that they sent. Now this is together. They told me that they were sending me $80 worth of hardware. So they included a bipod into that, and the bipod is its function is simple. These little knobs on either side, you pull down on those, and the bipod goes out to a standing position. You want it to come back, you just pull down on the screw and backwards, and then it is in its put away position. And to get this installed, on the side here, there is a button that you press, and that releases a latch to open this piece up here. So it's open there. You take it and you insert it onto the tube here, and then just close that. Press the button again so that it can lock in place, and there, it's on there. To tighten it up, you're going to I'm probably going to put it up here, to be honest. Okay. There. To tighten it up, there's this screw right here that you just screw it in. Just twist. It'll eventually start to put pressure on it. And now you have a bipod on here. And like I said, you just pull down on these. This one's a bit more difficult. Why is he being difficult? There we go. I don't know why he got stuck, but okay. Well, and then you have your bifold. And again, that is going to take some finagling. There are these here, which you can twist, and these will extend out. So if you need that, yeah. So if you need more height on those, you've got that part. And yeah, again, these just fold right back up, and we'll probably have them like that for most of this video as we transition over to stand out to get this set up. So let's go ahead and go get in the game. Okay, so here we are in Standout, and I'm realizing now that Standout probably isn't the best game for this, but we're going to roll with it anyways because it's what I said I was going to do. I did forget two things, one of which is this is the default blue Vive wrist strap, and the connection part from the Vive controller to the part that is your wrist strap, the part that actually hooks onto the controller. What ProTube provided is about twice as long and half as thick. so that when you are sticking your controller into the seat here, it's only in that thin part. It's not actually going to be riding any of the blue piece or this little plastic nub here. So you do need to use the wrist straps that ProTube provided. They gave me 4 of them, so there's that. But it gives you plenty enough room for you to seat the controller and still have your wrist strap. You don't have to take your wrist straps off. I mean, you could always do that. I'm not a fan of these wrist straps at first glance. I like this to be nice and tight and feeling secure. And they feel a little bit more loose than the Vive straps. And I wish that they would stay tight more consistently. I also didn't take out this inner lining, which I am probably going to need to take out because I've got the Mammoth. I've got the Mammoth. What are these called? The Mammoth covers, and they are not supposed to play nice with this inner cover. So I'm going to take those out really quick. It seems like it might be more of an ordeal than I thought it would be. I'm gonna go get a knife. Where's my Batman knife? Start cutting shit up. Right. I'm just gonna take the tip of the knife, stick it in there, and break that seal. I'm not actually gonna cut anything, and just try and work it out. I don't want to break it. Out! Damn it, out! Okay. Now that we did that, we're going to grab pliers. I can get in there with a nail. The pliers in there. And work it out with the pliers, and that almost beat me in the face. So, there you go. There is the inner seal. We'll just set that right down there. And now this should seat easier and fuller. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm going to do that with this one, and then we'll jump into the game. Okay, hopefully we can get through this unmolested. I doubt it, but hopefully. Barrier is moving. We should be good for a little while. So basically, what we're going to do is take a rifle, stick it in the rear hand mount, nice and snug, and just see how it fits, and if it needs to change, if it needs to go forward, come back, what the angle needs to be. I think this is a good angle, but I feel like I want to move the stock up. I'm going to need to take my hand out of this. So I'm going to want this up, probably 2, and yeah, that's probably good. Just sort of kind of keeping this straight line here. Let's see, how does that? Yeah, and I can rest my chin on this right here. It's not as high as I'd want, but the Vive sort of gets in the way of that as well. But you just sort of want to get where that cursor, where you can get the stock right in that pocket in your shoulder, and then the rest of it is just going to be getting this where it works well, and just gripping to grab really quick and seeing if that works. And in this case it doesn't. It needs to be rotated over a little, to be honest. It just takes some playing with it. So we're going to loosen this up a bit because it's not quite even. So now that I've got it loose, I'm going to grab my controller, get back in there, and while it's loose, just sort of grip and see where it naturally zeroes out for me, which seems to be right about there. Right. And so now with that, I'm going to tighten this down. Grab that, tighten that down. Grab the controller, stick it back in there, make sure I didn't move it. That one moved. Okay. I feel like I need to move now. No, actually, I'm still within the barrier. I'm still good. So what I could do is take this up one, but I think for this weapon, this is actually just fine. Oh. My Vive came, I don't know if you heard that or not. My Vive sort of slipped out of its snug setting. Alright, so we have these on here, as so. Bring them in. That seems to be pretty good. Let's try and go kill some people with this setting. I'm going to pop this back on. I do feel like I need to tighten some of these things a bit more. I am skylining myself with my voice. And with my position. Yeah, I'm gonna... Why don't we do that? Why don't we tighten this up a bit more? We're still good. I'm gonna hide here in the grass. I'm gonna take the Allen key to this stuff. Which I think I put in my pocket. Alright, so I feel like the back hand isn't going to change all that much. So I'm going to lock it down, and we always have the Allen key to adjust that. I'm going to lock this down because I feel like that's how I want the stock, just period. It feels good. It's right where I need it to be, and I can always adjust it later. I'm just going to lock those down, make this feel a bit more sturdy. Right now it feels a little too loose for my taste. Most people will probably want it loose enough to adjust on the fly. I feel like really the ones that I'm going to want to adjust are going to be this one and this one, the angle of the front hand, and whether or not I need to bring this down or not, down or up. So let's try that, stick this away, and let's see how this feels when we go trying to kill people. Let's see, we've got only 6 people remaining, and we're about to start dying, so let's see if we can finish this out with the time remaining. And I'm taking all kinds of damage because I'm a noob. I don't want to go down there. Completely forgot how to play all of this game. Nice, a little tight getting out of that. don't feel like I've gotten this how I want it. Nice. And closing in on me is not, though. Hide the bush here. Ah, damn it. Headshot.
Yeah.
No.
Hell yes, run game.
Anybody look into that ProTubeVR thing yet? That ProTube for this game?
Yeah, I
You
have
made
one.
With a shot
Yeah,
using one.
You know what I started doing? I started using my spare arm to like press my Vive controller on it, and now my aim's a lot steadier, and it's saving $100.
They sell something on eBay. $15.
I don't.
I used to do that until I got a ProTube.
Or homie,
ProTube.
I'd rather have my loco though.
it's a piece of carbon
Use it.
fiber or aluminum to attach.
It's more about the controller to shoulder in this game. That way you
Is that
can
the one
run
with the
too.
big-
Ah, I get
That's
it.
pretty dope.
All right, fair enough.
Not the cleanest, but Headshot.
Fuck, I ran out of ammo.
Sucks, man. That's getting thrown in there.
Nice. Oh, fuck! Behind me! No, I'm dead. Oh.
We weren't paying attention there, huh? We were talking too much. We should mute in-game chat, maybe. Well, then that wouldn't be fun, though. Yeah. Oh, no, he's sitting on my face now. That's rude. Alright.
Okay, so to wrap this up with my final thoughts on the ProTubeVR, the pros. The build quality is much better than the other stock that I have reviewed. It does feel quality. The instructions that came with it, they could have used a little bit of work, a little bit of part mapping, but other than that, they were fairly succinct, fairly easy to follow. The setup and just getting in and using it takes about an hour or so. But once you've done that, it's pretty much one size fits all. I think while playing Standout, there was only one gun with iron sights. I think it was the MP4. Not entirely certain. I didn't really try it with the P90 just because that seems kind of on the dumb side. But there was only really one weapon where this configuration didn't really fit for me. and it just was the I don't know. I probably needed to push this down a little bit, and it probably would have been fine. But that leads me into one of the problems that I had is when I was aiming with it and pulling back, this would just easily slide back like that. As I was, while it's in there trying to get it out, it would also alter the setup. And really, it's about as tight as it's going to go while still being able to give me the ability to move it. I felt the same with this back here, and really all of the joints. If you leave them loose enough to where you can adjust them in the middle of a game, so say I pick up that MP4, I think it was, and I decide this doesn't cut it, I actually want to move this down a notch. It's fairly easy to do that, but I don't know, it makes it feel unstable to me. And there really isn't a good in between. It does what it says that it is going to do. And for that, I give it props. I got a lot of headshots and snipe kills that I wouldn't normally have gotten. It does help there, but it's a trade-off to have the stability, to have the good feeling. This feels good when you're shooting. To have something, right up in here in your shoulder, and you feel like you're aiming down sights. I can feel it on my cheek. It feels good. But the trade-off is when you are, you bend down, you pick up your weapon, you load up your ammo, get it, cock it, rack it, whatever, and then you're fumbling trying to get it into the holes. And I'm not like infomercial trying to do anything there. It's you're blind while you're doing this because you can't see it in game, and you are trying to get it in the holes. There are several times where I picked up a weapon. There was someone in the house with me, and they jumped me, and I didn't have time to fumble like that. I just sort of had to go with it, being half in the middle of fumbling, and I was just dead. So there's a good 5 seconds where you're much more vulnerable when you are using this. So getting these in there, the handling, picking up, swapping weapons, reloading, pulling this out, grabbing your clip, wherever you have it, getting it in there. The rod here was often in the way. The sling was often in the way of reloading. I think that is where the single point sling actually was a little bit better. And if it does become too much of a problem, you could always just treat this like a single point sling and have it, right there like that. So you don't have to use it as a 2-point sling. And I think that in the future, I might end up doing that, using it like this instead, just because it was another thing that was in the way when I needed to reload really quick and go. So the big question, is it worth $80? I found the same pros and cons with the other rifle stock. They're functionally almost identical. What you get with the ProTube is a much, much better build quality. There were no missing pieces. There were extra pieces. There were detailed instructions. The quality of the pieces here just feels better. They feel more durable. They feel stronger. Just in general, it feels better. So if you want a quality product, this is probably the stock that you want to go with. Now, before I do a detailed back and forth between all of the different stocks, I do want to get one more stock, and that is the magnetic one that goes over the top. I want to get all three of them, compare the cheap version, the ProTubeVR, the higher quality version, and is it the Mark II VR? I don't remember what the name of the stock is. I know what it is inside my head. The story of my life. I want to get all three of them and do a side-by-side comparison. So I will save that for later. But yeah, the ProTubeVR, definitely useful if you are big into the shooters, Pavlov, Onward, Standout. This isn't going to hurt. I mean, as long as you understand that you're trading stability here for handling when you're picking up and reloading. That's the big trade-off with these stocks. I've seen people say that they're cheating. It's a trade-off, like anything. You take a hit to how quickly you can get a weapon up, racked, and useful because you've got to grab your stock. Make sure that with the TB cast, I've got a wire going down to my belt. This cup and this hook frequently got hooked on those cables, so that's another consideration. So when it was behind, trying to unhook the cable, get it out here, then find the holes while you're effectively blindfolded, not super easy. It's going to add about 5-10 seconds once you find a weapon, pick it up, and start using it. I've been caught with my pants down many times when trying to get the controllers into the sleeves. I really did like, speaking of the sleeves, how they had the inserts. The inserts here that just slid right in here and pulled right out, and those compensate for the fact that I've got the Mammoth controller protectors on there. If I didn't have the Mammoth controller protectors, I would have left this in there, and it would have covered that like millimeter of space that would have lost. So that's also a nice touch. The other stock, I really didn't want to do a side-by-side comparison yet, but the other stock, their suggestion was actually to cut the cover around the edge, and really I don't think that's a good solution. I like that these guys have that. They actually took the time to think about it, and that's where the extra money comes in. You're paying for those extra little quality of life adjustments. Having the Allen wrench, having it clipped to the pole, having the bipod. So I didn't use the bipod. I tried it out. I tried sniping with it a little bit. I didn't really get any of that into the video. It felt too high. So I was prone and I was sniping, and it just felt like it was sending my shots up. I wasn't a big fan of this. I could see it being useful, but in a more sniper-focused game, maybe a PvE game instead of a PvP. I definitely like that they included it, and I like that it was there, but I probably wouldn't use it too much in games like Standout or Onward. It would be more of a PvE shooter that I would look to use this in the future. But that's going to do it for this review. I know it was 2 videos long, and both videos were pretty long. I think I actually promised not to make them that long, but, I really wanted to get the unboxing, the setup, the adjusting the stock, like what you wanted to do, a little bit of gameplay, and then my final thoughts. So here they are. That is that. If you enjoyed this, if you are thinking about buying a ProTube, let me know in the comments below. Go ahead and give a like, sub, all that good stuff. Hit the bell. If you did enjoy this video and you got anything out of this series, I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.